Okay, this is going to be a video in a similar format to the last couple videos I did with POV. This particular one is my 2004 Mercedes CLK500 Convertible. I purchased it for $4,500, and it needed a few things. It needed a one of the main lift cylinders for the top. I actually lowered the top with the bad cylinder, and it squirted oil everywhere on the inside of the car, but it was under the seat, and it didn't make a mess except for under the seat, which I had to clean up. Replacing it wasn't too bad of a job. You have to remove the back seat and all the trim and stuff like that, and then you have to remove the airbag in the back, and got that all done and put it back together. I got the new one from Top Hydraulics. It was like after I sent the core back and whatever, it ended up costing about 220 bucks, and I'm gonna say it took me, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours, something like that. You just have to take your time with it. And the part to be really particular about is when you put the hydraulic lines into the cylinder to make sure they're lined up perfectly and whatever. Since I've replaced it, I get a periodic visit workshop message when I raise and lower the top, but I've raised and lowered it a bunch of times since then, and it's basically been fine. And I always say I hope the camera's at the right angle. It seems like it's going to be pretty close. Okay, so I did that, and then the top worked again, and then the AC didn't work. All it needed was a charge. It's been working for a month since I charged it up. The brakes would shake the car when you applied the pedal, but I discovered that was mainly due to where the pads had sat against the rotors from where the car had been stored previously. And that's a tricky intersection there. And just a few hard stops cleaned that up. So, oh, this could be interesting because that's the lead truck, so there's probably a big truck coming behind him. Yeah, I think I'll just get over here, let him get by. This road's real bad for that because we have a lot of the oil and gas rigs and stuff here. But at least you have the lead trucks to kind of warn you about it. So back on the road. So anyway, yeah, so a few hard stops, got the brakes working again. I got a West Virginia sticker on it, passed inspection. Yeah, other than that, I got underneath the car. Oh yeah, the valve cover gaskets and the breathers. I had to reseal the breathers, and what I used for that was the Toyota FIPG. I can't remember the number of it, but it's the one for oil pans and stuff like that. That sealed the breather, so I didn't actually take them off. The valve cover gaskets were done a couple times according to the history on this car, but I had to do the passenger side one. I actually had to do it twice because when I lined it up, I didn't have it lined up right the first time, and when I slid it, it kind of kinked it, so it was leaking after that. So I redid it and was extremely careful. So when you do the valve cover gaskets, it's actually a very easy job. You just have to be very meticulous and make sure you have it lined up before you actually put it on. This time I put it on in exactly the right spot, and didn't even have to move it, was able just to put the bolts in. Other than that, the car, I mean, even stuff like the service history, it had a dealer service history. I'm all in. Oh yeah, and I had to do paintless dent repair on this car. I paid 400 bucks. There was a couple big ones. There's one they couldn't quite get out because it already had some paint damage, but I touched it up. So pretty much the outside of this car is 95%. I mean, it looks really good. The paint is shiny, but it could use a paint correction. Mercedes paint from these years was kind of soft, even when they were newer. Yeah, but other than that, like the service history, like the brake fluid is clear. The transmission oil, the dipstick tube had a different cap on it than what comes from the factory, so I was pretty sure that at some point the fluid and filter was changed. No leaks on the transmission pan or the connector. As you can tell from my driving, it shifts pretty nicely as well. So, you know, all in, I think I'm between 6 and 6,500. The car had 48,000 miles when I got it. It's got 49 now. I've put over 1,000 miles on it. It's been extremely reliable. This engine and transmission are well known for being very good, very durable, very reliable, and it basically runs and drives like new. The V8, the M113 V8 in this car is surprisingly quick. Let me lower the window a little bit. I don't know if you'll be able to hear that exhaust note. I'm actually going to use the manual shifter, put it in second gear. It has a little bit of a burble when you let off, but let's see if you can hear this. Mainly when you're going downhill. This road turns back into 2 lanes here instead of 1.5. Let me give a little demo of the power here. Right around 4,000 RPMs is really where it seems to kick in. And the manual shifter is nice because it yeah, hopefully you got to hear a little bit of that, because it holds the gear. Like I've seen so many cars that it will shift for you even though you have it in manual mode. I'll go ahead and put it back in automatic mode. But yeah, I think this car is probably worth about 13 to 15 as it sits. I'm gonna eventually sell it, but for now I love driving it. It's a fantastic car. It's probably my favorite driving Mercedes of any that I've had. But so in accordance with the rest of the videos that I do, I'm gonna go ahead and just shut up and drive so you can hear the car, and I'll be able to get in a couple accelerations here. And I've got something bouncing around here that's making a little noise. I'll go ahead and put that on the seat to make it quieter. But yep, enjoy the drive. Some stuff sitting in that tray. That's what's making that sound. Just keep that on the seat. Then you have your assholes that drive like that on a blind turn.